Hello everyone, it's Amy and welcome back for week 11 of the new Build Your Stash and Craft. So this week we picked up some clothespins and a shower curtain. Now the shower curtain is going to be used at a later date just to cover our surfaces with plastic if you don't want to use the plastic bags that we stole out of our kitchen last week. But this will give you a nice piece of covering for your surface. And what we're going to mess with this week are these clothespins and some of the paper clips that we already have. I just have some of our other things that we already purchased laying out here. Some string, some beads, some paint, stickers, paper, and that type, and glue. So, well, oh, we got the glue for this week too, I think. Or last week, I don't remember. Let's make sure that this is open. Okay, so it has a little hole in the top, maybe? Because there's glue there. No, it must have just squeezed out. So we're going to take this lid off. And then put this back on, because it does have a nice cap on it. Alrighty, so this is just a fun project to do, and there's a million ways to do it. So we're just going to kind of play around. And I love these little tiny paper clips to use as little embellishments on things. And so we're just going to kind of go through a few of the different ways. One thing I did not pull out was I didn't pull out any markers. But you can also, because they're wood, do I have a palette here? I don't, so we're just going to put it right on our paper. I'm just going to use, they're so tiny, we don't need a lot. Let's have a couple of different colors of paint, and we'll just paint one up. But these just work good for all sorts of things. And then what you can do, because they're really, really little to hold, so one little tip is take a piece of cardboard. I've got a cereal box or something here. I'm going to steal a piece of it. Just take a little piece of cardboard and clip it on there. Now it's so much easier to hold by using the cardboard like that. And we'll just paint it up with some paint. And then we'll decide what do we want to put on it, because you can do anything. You can put paper flowers. You can put stickers. You can put any type of little embellishment that you've made. You can just, with the little teeny tiny ones, I do not normally collage them because they are so small. But the medium size one and the large clips, I like to collage on them. So because that's just a fun thing to do. And then see what it looks like when you're done. So, and you want to make sure that you kind of get the inside of those back clips. I don't really worry about painting the inside of the part that clips onto something, because it's always clipped onto something, you don't see it. But the inside here, you do see that part. But, and also if you have any little fridge magnets, like that you get from different companies or whatever, where they give you those big flat fridge magnets with their name and phone number on it. If you have any of those that you're not using, those work great to glue to the back and then just cut it, trim it off, and then you can use them as a clip on your refrigerator. So I have a lot of those different types of, I don't know why that's over there. A lot of those different types of magnets, and I use them like for my crafting quite often, because I'm just going to put a few little dots of orange on there just to kind of give it a little depth so it's not just a flat color. But yeah, those magnets work really well, and I like them better than if you buy the kind that are, they're just the little flat magnets, pretty much the same thing, but they come in, they're all wound around. I have a hard time getting those to get flat and then sticking to my project, even if I glue them on, unless I weigh them down or something. And I would prefer to not have to mess with that. So the little ones that you get from different companies, those are already very flat. So there, I kind of like that coloring on there. And so I can just leave that on there and put another one on there if I want to paint it. But let's do one that's this size. The other thing that I think that they're really cute, another way that they look really cute is you don't have to put them like, you can put them on anything. You can put them in your book. You know, if you've got a journal or something, you can put them in there. But the big ones are really a little bulky for that. Oh, I got my scissors and everything in there, but... So, you know, those are kind of bulky. The smaller ones work better for something like that. Oops. If I can hang on to it. So those do work better, and they really look cute on the spine of your journal. If you have a journal that has a spine, that has a gap, they look really cute. Sorry, my hands don't want to work today. They look really cute on there. So like that. But the bigger ones, I really like to put them, I think they look cute if you just hang them on your curtains. So, and you have to think about what you're going to use it for, because if I'm going to hang this on a curtain, like on a valance, I want to make sure this is my top and this is my bottom, because it's going to clip onto my valance up here and it's going to hang down this way. So let's, I don't want to paint it that color because I know what I'm going to put on it. Let's use a little bit of green and yellow. And I'm going to show you, I'm going to make this one as a clip. And really, these are so small that you need such a little tiny bit of paint. So just make sure that if you're not going to use all your paint, that maybe you have some paper or something that you can paint it onto so that you don't waste your paint. I'm going to put this one on here. And I'm going to paint it yellow. And then put like some green stripes or something on it. Excuse me. And depending on, now this, the back side of this clip is a little darker than the other side. So the paint might need 2 coats to make it really bright. Not to cover, just to make it bright. But that's not a necessity. And I want to get into, with the bigger ones, I do want to get into this part that's clipped that you can see. And when you put it on not too thick, the acrylic paint dries really fast. And I also use the full-size ones. You could use these, but I don't know how well they would hold. But a regular size clothespin, I use them to keep my chips and my any kind of like cereal bags inside the box. When you wind them all up, I stick a regular size paper or clothespin on there. And I do it because it stays really well. It's just so easy to get off and on. And it's not huge. A lot of those, what they call chip clips, they're so big. And so, you know, if you fold your flaps in and then roll it down, these work really, really well. And they don't take up a whole bunch of room in your silverware drawer, wherever you're going to store them when you're not using them. Because those other ones, they're so long and they're so big and they, you know, stick way out on the pinchy part that they're just kind of, to me, they're a pain in the behind. So I really do like using regular clothespins as chip clips. And one year for a craft fair, I just used a thin marker and I wrote chip clip down there, or I wrote like little affirmation words or whatever. and like put them in sets of 5, I think, in a cute little baggie, and they did really well. So, you know, it's something else that you could do with them, or even just give them as a gift to someone that you know. I know my girlfriend's daughter bought one, and I think she was just kind of buying it to be nice. Because it was one of my first craft fairs, so, you know, a lot of the stuff I had was kind of different. But after she got them, she really liked them. She couldn't believe, like, what a good idea it was. And yes, they can just go out and buy clips if they want to, but if they want a little decorative one, and they're not crafty, they can get it from you. So there we go. Now we have these pretty colors. Now, what I want to do with this is I want to dangle something off the bottom. I want to dangle some of our beads. And so I'm going to take, this is a bread tie that this one didn't have paper on it, it had plastic. If they have paper, I just pull the paper off, but the plastic doesn't work well like that. So I just took my scissors and cut up each side of the wire so that I have a nice thin wire. I'm going to fold it in half and use a little bit of our string. I'm never good at how you're really supposed to take these things apart, because there is a way, I think, that you take them apart and they don't get all tangled. Alrighty, so I'm just going to open up my thing into a little V, put my string in there, and then pinch it back together so that I can stick the bead on there. Okay, so I'm going to go like that. Then I have to decide, what do I want to do at the bottom? Do I want to put a knot? I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a couple of the little sparkles that we got a while back when we did flowers. And I think I'm going to go with the green one. And just put that at the bottom. Now, because we've got the string on there, and the fact of, you know, they're just cheapy stickers from the Dollar Tree, so they might not stick really well together. I'm going to just take and put a little bit of glue, just a little dot, before I put the other one on. And then just line them up and push them together. Now, you'll want to be careful until they dry so that you don't push it off, but I think that that's a really cute way to put something on the bottom of a dangle without just like putting a knot or something. You could also come down and then come back up the outside with your string so that it's sitting like in a, like this. You could come back like this, so your bead is sitting there and the string goes around it, but I don't like the way that that looks. So then I can decide, okay, so that's kind of cute, but like, what do I want to put between my beads, or do I want my beads to be right next to each other? So maybe I'll do 2 beads, and maybe I will take one of these yellowish ones and do the same thing. Just set it down there. It doesn't have to be super tight against that bead. There can be a little wiggle room. Put that there. A touch of glue. And I want the glue to touch the string and the, and the sparkly thing on the bottom, so that we're actually not just gluing this top one to the string, we're gluing it to the bottom one also. Just kind of put it on there. Line it up. And give it a squish. There we go. And then we'll put one more bead on here. I'm going to put this little one. And of course, a lot of these things, I'm just kind of like trying to give you as many ideas as I have in not a whole lot of time. So you can always go so much farther with doing all of these things. You know, you can really, really, really decorate them up. So what I'm going to do here, because remember, this is the one that I want to hang on my curtain. So it's going to clip up on my curtain like that, which means that this I want to dangle off the bottom. It just gives me something I just like things hanging around. And so I like to hang things on my curtain. So I'm just going to put a little glue on here. Like that. And then I'm going to put the string on there. And I'm doing this one right on the outside. I could do it on the inside of the clip so that it's not too... If I wanted, I could put it right in here so that you wouldn't see the string, just so long as whatever it is still allows you to pinch this, whatever you're putting between there. But I wanted to put a couple of those on here also. And then that will help hold the string down. Plus it will give me a little extra interest on my clip. Okay, so I think, because I think I want one at the top also, I think I'm going to move that yellow one. I was going to put it right next to there, but I think I'm going to put it right at the top of that thread. And then one more green one right at the top. And so there we go. Now we have this dangle, and this is the type of dangle that's going to hang down. So now if we wanted something that hung down the other way, then you just hook it at this end. So now we have this little tiny one, and what do we want to put on there? How about maybe a flower? And again, even these would be pretty on there. And then you could clip that on the edge of a journal, the spine, or even the pages. So I don't have any little flowers, so I'm going to have to just make one. So I'm going to cut a couple little squares. And then, because I want it to be tiny, because that's a tiny clip, I'm going to cut a small square. Whoops. Alrighty, and I'll show you in a second. I'll do the instructions on the folding because I didn't think about that. So I'm just going to come up there, and wherever I started my cut on that side, I'm going to start my cut on this side. And then when you unfold it, you have a cute little flower. And you could draw on that or put a little paint on that. Maybe just use the edge of my... I don't want it to be super dark, but maybe put a little bit of red on the peaks. Oops, I missed one. There we go. So that one looks like that. So when you fold a cup for a flower, you fold corner to corner so you have a triangle. Your fold is down here, so then you're going to fold across that fold to make another triangle. And then one more time, fold it that top point to point like that, and then you're going to cut it. And you're going to, wherever you start your cut on one side, that's where you're going to finish your cut on the other, so that your petals are even. So I'm going to kind of go up like that. I'm going to turn it over because it's so small. A lot of times I just cut up and just keep going around, but I'm going to come over here. I started my cut right down there, so that's where I'm going to start the cut over here. And just cut up. And the part that you're holding on to is the part where all the folds come together, so that you don't cut it into pieces. And so now we have this little flower that looks like that. And I do have a tutorial on how to cut the flowers and different few different styles of flowers. It's back a few videos, so if you want to go look at that, you can. I'm gonna grab just a little bit of this orange and maybe put that on the tips of this flower. A little bit more. And there we go. And then if you have a little tiny like diamondette or whatever they call those, you could put that in the middle. Since we don't have one, I'm going to take the other end of my paintbrush. I'm going to put a little red dot in the middle. And you could even do maybe like a little bit messy around that dot to kind of fill it up but not make it super solid. And just put a little glue here. Put this one on top. Kind of offset them a little bit. And then, put just a little bit of glue here. And put that on there. I was just kind of trying to recenter that orange flower. There we go. And then just put it on there. And if you want it to be a little more blingy, you can use a little clear nail polish on the center. That will be cute. I didn't bring that out. Or you could maybe put, I don't know, I think these might be just a little bit too big. But then again, can you ever have too much bling? Sometimes not. Not when you're doing bright colors. Oh, that looks much better. Difference of that. Which actually, that does not look bad either. And that. I just like that a little better. And so there we go. Now we have a really cute clip to clip onto something. And you really should let it dry before you mess with it too much. So there we go. So we have a dangle clip, and we have a little book clip. And then I thought maybe while we were at it, I would show you how to do paper clips too. That a way for them to work really well in your journals. And so what I like to do is, I don't want the paper clip to have to clip to my journal. I want to say that. You can just put something right on the front, but I like to do a hidden paper clip. And if you have an old, I don't have one here. if you have like a Christmas card or an old card, it's nicer to do this centerpiece right here with cardstock. But we're just going to do it like that. So then when you go to put this on your journal, you're going to slide it this way, right between the paper, because now we're going to cover this up on the outside like this, and you won't see that paper, you won't see the paper clip at all. Now you want to make sure that your bottom piece is as long as, you don't want it to be shorter than whatever you're putting on the outside. So I usually leave it a little bit bigger. When you hook them together, make sure you put a touch of glue between the wires on your paper clip so that your paper, and then also put it on the outside. Because you want to make sure that that doesn't slide out. And if the paper is glued to the paper, that holds the paper clip in there. So there we go. Just give that a press. And our one that's on the inside is a little bit longer. You can leave it like that, because what you want to do is make sure that when you're trying to put it on your journal, if the inside one was shorter, as you were trying to slide this down onto a page, you would catch that piece of paper that was up in here that was shorter. That's why you want to make sure that it's as long as, your inside one is as long as your outside one, or longer. So there we go. And you're going to want to make sure, because you're just squishing glue around here and you don't know if it's glued those pieces together, you do want to make sure that you take something and make sure that you haven't glued it together. So there we go. And parchment, that's what you want to use, is your parchment paper. Put your parchment paper over top of a piece of paper and then let it dry really well so that you don't glue your paper clip together. Now, if you don't want that down there, then you can just trim it off. Or if you don't like it being square corners, you can just round it off. And I find that when I'm rounding corners or whatever, if I always go from the same side, like I went this way, and then I turned it over and I still went that way, if I go this way, and then I try and come up here and go that way, they don't look as much the same. So, because, I don't know, it's just like the movement of your hand going like this gives you that look. So if you turn it over and do the same thing, basically it's really close. Okay, and now you can decorate this one up any way that you want to. So maybe put a sticker on it or anything like that. Oh, I like that sticker. Again, you can make the flowers, all different sorts of flowers. Now, this was not a really smart idea, because you know what? That butterfly is still sticky on the back. Although if you have baby powder, talcum powder, cornstarch, anything like that, if you just touch that on there, it will stick to the sticky part and help get rid of that. So, because I do like the way that that looks. And then maybe, because it's a butterfly, maybe to kind of make it look like it's flying, if we just put a little trail. Okay, that's very rounded, so I'm going to use the end of one of our skewers, which is just flatter. And hopefully not too big. Well, it just doesn't want to. Maybe it's the way that my paper is rounded down in there. And so when you want to make a trail, normally the way that I do it is I just continue with the same pink, because then your dot usually gets a little smaller as you go. So there we go. Doesn't look the best. I don't like it. So I'm going to get rid of it. I just wetted my brush a little bit. There. And I like that a whole lot better. Now I've got a little darker on the bottom than up here between the wings. So, you know, you can always fix anything, even if you have a problem with it. I don't like to leave paint on the end of my paintbrush. I do that a lot, but sometimes it doesn't like to come off later. There we go. So, it's not all the ideas, it's just the start of ideas. So remembering that they just make little cute clips. I was just looking for even just a regular piece of paper. Ah. Where you can, and see now, you can kind of see where that two pieces of paper come together. Makes it much easier to put on there. And we have our little clips going up. And don't forget, you can do little clips that hang down. I just really love the ones that hang down. I do lots of different things that just hang like that. Hang them on my curtains or just hang them everywhere. I have them hanging on my purse, just all sorts of things, because I like danglies. So you can always make danglies with these. You can do it with the little ones too. You don't have to use the big one. You know, depending on the size of whatever project that you want to put it on. You could write a word on, you know, your nice big flat ones. And with these paper clips, the way that I showed you to put the inside and then put the outside, I'll do that a lot and just fold a piece of parchment paper over my paper. Like this. Just fold your parchment paper over so they don't stick. I'll glue them all together and then just line them up on there. And then I just leave them, because then when I need them, all I have to do is pull it off. I'll do it a lot of times in a neutral color. I'll do it a lot of times in book pages. And then I can just pull it off, either give it a little color if it needs some. Sometimes it doesn't need any because I just like the way it looks. And put an embellishment on it, and boom, it's all, the paper clip is already ready to go. So, you know, those are really nice to just make the base like this, like we did. Just make a bunch of them and just, you know, and like I said, because you don't want them to stick to the paper, just put a piece of parchment paper over, just line them all up on there, let them dry, and they will be there for you whenever you're ready on a project that you need a paper clip really quick. So that is just some really quick ideas for what you can do with these clips. And don't forget, the regular size one do make great chip clips. So thank you very much for stopping by. If you want to make sure that you see all my videos, click the bell. It will give you a message when I put a video up. And so that way you'll just know. You don't have to watch it if you don't want to, but you'll know there's one there. Thank you very much for watching. I really do appreciate each and every one of you. And I hope that you all have an outstanding day. Bye-bye.